Hey, what is up, you guys? It is Tyler. Welcome back to the Tyler Williams channel, and welcome to another episode of the Chill Pill Podcast. Guys, it is episode 10. I know, I'm trying not to be like Ty Dillinger and try to be more like Sean Spears and strive for perfection, which is why your boy is now 3 weeks strong running with the Chill Pill Podcast. I'm actually really I'm really proud of myself. I've been trying my hardest to keep up with this, and I expect this episode will probably be the shortest we've done in a while because I don't have too much to talk about this week. But I do have 2 shows I wanted to review on this podcast, which is probably going to take up a bit of time. That being said, got a few things to get into today. We have Stardom's No People Gate, their first ever YouTube live stream show that held no people in attendance at Korakuen Hall. Elimination Chamber, which I was in attendance for last Sunday. I give my thoughts on that. New Japan Pro Wrestling news, and it is not any good stuff to talk about. And AEW Blood Guts announces their match, their Wargames like match they're going to likely call the match Beyond, and AEW potentially running a G1 Climax like tournament sometime in the next year. So I'm going to talk about all that. I can't speak today. I can never speak though. So I'm going to talk about all that today, and that being said, let's get straight into this podcast. So let's first talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling. You know, just last week we were talking about how New Japan Pro Wrestling had to basically cancel half of the New Japan Cup in wake of the coronavirus outbreak in Japan. It's getting worse as the weeks go by. More cases are coming up in the United States. Italy, out of nowhere, really just broke out of this virus, and it seems like it's getting worse over there more than any other country not named China. I feel really bad. Italy's basically on lockdown right now. Like, no one can leave and no one can come in. It's really terrible over there. I feel for them. My heart goes out to like literally everybody who's dealing with this. And I know I could say we are victims of the coronavirus because our wrestling shows are being stripped away from us. But there are people out there who are likely being scanned this very second, and it's just can't imagine being those people. So yeah, when I hear people say, oh well, the flu's worse because the flu killed more people, I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Like, I hate when people try to downplay this. And I'm not saying that it shouldn't be, you know, talked about at length that it is, or I'm not necessarily saying that, oh well, put it this way, I feel like this is overblown to an extent, but I do feel like people shouldn't just not talk about it. Like, this is something that's actually happening. There wouldn't be cancellations for not just wrestling shows, but big events all over the world if it was just the flu going around. Like, the flu is not like that widespread like the coronavirus is. So when I hear people say, oh, well, the flu, I'm like, bro. All right, now when your family member gets the flu, someone else you know gets coronavirus, then come talk to me about that. And I know that sounds harsh, but I feel like the people who are saying that are the people who don't believe it's going to happen to them, or don't believe it can happen to somebody they know. So I need those people to put into perspective of the people who might be dealing with it. That's what I try to do. I try to put it into perspective people who might be dealing with it. And that's why I take precautions. Like, when I go to work, I always have Purell on me. Wherever I go and I touch the surface, squirt. Like, I don't play any games. I'm not trying to get it. At Elimination Chamber, me and my little sister walking out of the arena, some guy walked by. I literally took a whole, first of all, I almost socked this guy in the face for coughing with his mouth open and not covering his mouth. But I almost had to take a whole detour. He's like, dude, no. I don't know what you got. I don't know if it's a cough or what you got. But this is not the time to be acting gross. So, I say all that to get to this point. New Japan Pro Wrestling at first had basically canceled every show from March 1st to March 15th. Well, today we have more news that New Japan Pro Wrestling, heeding the advice of the General Ministry of Japan for Health, that they have taken account to cancel shows from March 16th to March 21st, which basically it entirely cancels all of the New Japan Cup. At first, it was the 1st to the 15th. The New Japan Cup started on the 8th, and continued on to the 21st. Now, with all these shows being canceled from March 1st, which is the start of the New Japan Anniversary Tour, to March 21st, this cancels the entire Anniversary Tour and the entire New Japan Cup. So, as of right now, there is no New Japan Cup. There is no delay. There is no it could happen this week or today. There is no New Japan Cup. Like, at all. Whatsoever. And I really like to think that New Japan is possibly thinking about how they can go about pushing the tournament back, because it would kind of suck for them not to be able to do the tournament at all this year. And I know it's a possibility because when you look at the landscape of things, we've already missed out on the Anniversary Tour, which was going to hold Hiromu Takahashi versus Tetsuya Naito. You can't not do that match because the tour got canceled. You have to do that match at some point. On top of that, the New Japan Cup is pretty vital because that usually determines who will face the champion at Sakura Genesis. Sakura Genesis is happening on March 31st. Now, that show is not canceled as of this second. Now, it worries me that we've canceled an entire New Japan Cup tournament, because that means that we could potentially get more shows canceled in the future if this gets worse. And it's obviously not getting, we can say it's not getting worse, but it's obviously not getting better if more shows are being canceled in Japan. It's not just New Japan. Stardom has even said they're canceling more shows. DDT's canceling more shows. Dragon Gate's canceling more shows. It's really bad. But New Japan is the most mainstream thing, Japanese based here in America, and that's where I kind of get my focus at the most. So for me, it's saddening to hear that kind of stuff. And I can't imagine the wrestlers, being out of work for that long. And I'm sure they're probably, I like to think they're getting compensated, but who's to say these wrestlers are maybe not getting paid for being off for this long period of time? Like, I feel for them. They have nothing to do. A lot of these guys might be tight on the contracts. They can't leave the country. They can't go outside and work other places. Where are they going to go? These other companies are not running shows. So unless you got booked for WrestleMania weekend, these guys aren't doing anything for the next month. So I feel for them. And like I said, there is a potential. I don't want it to happen, and I'm sure many of you, all of you, shouldn't want this to happen, but there is a potential that Sakura Genesis, happening at the very end of the month, could be canceled as well. So I don't want to put that out to the universe, and I don't want to put that energy out there, but this is a very real thing that's happening here in Japan, and it's really worrisome. It really is worrisome. But that being said, what does New Japan do about this situation? Because it seems like every week we're not getting any better information about when the tournament's happening. So what I propose, and this is all contingent that the virus is not worse by this point. I hope it's not worse by this point. But New Japan is having their Wrestling Dantaku show in May, after the before Best of the Super Juniors. So, what they could do is they could hold the tournament in April during the Road to Wrestling Dantaku tour. As you guys know, they usually have their Road to tours before their big shows. So they had the Road to Wrestling Dantaku tour touring from April 1st to April the 24th. That is the perfect time slot to move your New Japan Cup. So we can have something building up to these shows. Not only can you do the finals at Wrestling Dantaku, but you can also do Hiromu versus Tetsuya Naito at Wrestling Dantaku. And normally Wrestling Dantaku is a 2-night event. So you could do Hiromu versus Tetsuya Naito and the finals of the New Japan Cup on night 1 of Wrestling Dantaku. Then you can do Tetsuya Naito's title defense on night 2 of Wrestling Dantaku. See, that's how it works out. We can work out. We can make this tournament happen this year, in the next month even. The very worst case scenario is that they don't do New Japan Cup at all, because they already missed their window, and maybe they're not trying to push back anything else this year. I mean, what else can you push back? You already pushed back G1 Climax to the fall because of the Olympics, and the Olympics might outright be canceled as well. That's an even possibility. Like, what happens if this stretches out even longer? Then what happens? But I don't want to think about that. I just hope that everything gets better so that we can see this tournament happen in April. That being said, we'll move on to Stardom. Try to brighten the mood a little bit here. Stardom held their No People Gate show a few days ago. It was the first time they ever live streamed on YouTube. Well, no, not the first time they ever live streamed on YouTube, but the first time they ever live streamed one of their shows in real time on YouTube. I watched it live. I live streamed during this show. It brought in 10,000 live viewers to their stream, which is great for them. A lot of eyes on the product. I'm sure not all those eyes were just Japanese. There were a lot of people in the chat that spoke English, so that's really good to see. Overall, I thought it was a fine show. Like, it wasn't necessarily a show I needed to see, but it was important to watch because I wanted to see them succeed and, possibly, do some more of these shows in the future. Because the thing about this coronavirus situation is, yes, it's worse for New Japan, but it also sucks for Stardom too. Because if these shows keep getting canceled, it's more weeks they're going to be out of work. And more weeks they can't do TV. So they might have to look forward to doing more of these shows on YouTube. Possibly. But going into my show, I'm going to do a little bit of a review for this show. So we had a special time battle royal. It worked like a Royal Rumble, basically. In the match, we had Death Yama-san, Saya Iida, Azumi, the Tokyo Pimp herself, Momo Nakanishi, who I'm not familiar with, but she got a good ovation in the chat, and she did most of this match was revolved around her, so she obviously has to be a big deal in Japan. We have Ruka, arguably the worst wrestler in Stardom, Rina, Hina, Captain Stardom, Starlight Kid, Layla Hirsch, Konami, Tam Nakano, one of the very best in Stardom, as is Konami, Natsu Sumire, Saya Kamatani, Mima Shimoda, who I've heard of before and have seen a match of hers, so that was a pretty big pop for me. And Super Strong Style Starlight Machine, a long-ass name for this wrestler. What, Super Strong Style Starlight Machine? That's a mouthful. Who the hell named this person that? Which I believe was Saya Iida under a mask, at least that's what I've been told from a source. But the final three came down to Azumi, Super Starlight Machine, and Momo Nakanishi. At that point, I'm like, okay, Momo Nakanishi is not full-time New Japan. She came in for a surprise appearance. She's having her edge spot in this battle royal. Super Starlight Machine is just the wrestler. The logical thing is to have Azumi win this match. Now, what do they get? Not really explained. Probably nothing. Probably just the battle royal to fill up time, if anything. But even then, I think it would be a big win for Azumi to have. She came in at like the fourth. She was like the third person in this match. So she'd been in the ring for like a good 15 minutes, 20 minutes at this point. They're battling it out, Azumi and Momo are, and they get onto the apron. And they're both holding on. They're punching each other. And Super Strong oh my god. This is why you can't have a long-ass name like that. Super Machine. I'm just going to say Super Machine. Super Machine drop kicks them both off the top rope. And they win. Well, they don't win. She wins the Battle Royal. Super Strong Style Starlight Machine wins the Battle Royal. After the match, she hops on the microphone. She calls out Natsuko Tora. Mind you, this is the same Natsuko Tora who at this point was scheduled to face Arisa Hoshiki for this the Wonder of Stardom Championship later on in the night. So, many people in the chat, myself included, were wondering, why is Natsuko Tora wrestling right now? Is she pulling double duty? That makes no sense. Like, Arisa's pulling double duty, so why does she have to? Like, if I'm Natsuko Tora, I'm not accepting this match. Like, I got a championship match tonight. It makes no sense for her to do. But she comes out, she accepts the match. They wrestle. It was an okay match. I can't remember anything happening except for the finish. Natsuko Tora hitting her frog splash and pinning her. But I didn't understand. And nobody understood. Now, at this point, I'm getting messages from people in the chat and whatnot saying that Arisa Hoshiki is reportedly injured and can't wrestle, so that's why she's facing what's-her-name. And I'm just like, well, where are you hearing this from? Because Stardom didn't say anything. Normally, Stardom's, either their Twitter, the Japanese Twitter, their main page, or their English Twitter will announce something like this. But they announced nothing. They never said anything about Arisa Hoshiki being injured or the match not taking place. They didn't say anything. So to the English viewers who may not have known about this, or even the Japanese viewers who didn't know about this, they just thought, okay, Natsuko Tori's pulling double duty, I guess. Then I'm getting messages in the chat about this whole hand injury thing, and I'm like, well, I can't believe, not that I don't want to believe you guys, but it's like, I'm not seeing these reports anywhere. So I'm just gonna guess that Arisa is still wrestling tonight. So we continue on with the rest of the show. We get into the next match, Micah versus Julia. No, Micah versus Julia. We have a lot of boxes here. Rate this podcast 5 stars on Apple Podcast, even though we're not on Apple Podcast. So like this video on YouTube. We have Micah and Julia versus Hana Kimura and Jungle Kiona. I thought it was a good tag team match. Some good stuff here from Hana and Julia. They always bring the best out of each other, mainly Julia out of Hana. And when I first started watching Stardom, I was really into Hana. Not gonna lie, she's a hot girl. She's a very good looking woman, and that was a lot of the appeal for me at first. But as I got into Stardom a lot more, I kind of realized that Julia is like a good wrestler. But when it comes to her being in a ring with a lot of these wrestlers like Julia and Momo and Utami and Arisa and Tam and Konami and Jungle, and like she's so like not subpar compared to the rest of them, but her in terms of in ring, she's just kind of beneath them, honestly. Like she's not bad, she's just not great. I love Hana though, don't get me wrong, I love Hana, but Julia seems to be like someone who could really bring her good side out. Like she sells a lot and does a lot of moves, a lot of submission exchanges and whatnot. Julia's a star, not yet, but is a star in my eyes. Future World of Stardom Championship material right here. Watch out. Micah, on the other hand, I still don't see anything of Micah. Now, I've seen Shiori wrestle a few times already, both in Stardom and outside of Stardom. She's really good. I don't see anything in Micah right now. Now, she has some good takedowns in here and some good submission transitions. I don't know how long she's been wrestling, but she just doesn't do anything for me in the ring right now. She got in the ring with Jungle and she's working over her shoulder or whatnot, having her in cross arm bars and doing all types of transitions, and they had some good stuff in here. Ultimately, Jungle Kiona put down Micah with a corner lariat, got on her top rope, and hit a seated muscle buster for the pin. So Jungle Kiona winning her match for TCS. Handing Donna Del Mundo their first loss here in Stardom. They've been on a 7-0 win streak up until this point, but now they have received their first loss. So this would, in turn, set TCS up for a championship match later down the line. Assuming it would be Hana, Jungle, and Konami versus Julia, Micah, and Shiori. When that will be, I'm not too sure, but I'm looking forward to it. Then we get into the next match, Utami Hayashishita and Momo Watanabe versus B. Priestoli and Jamie Hayter for the Goddesses of Stardom Championships. I thought this was a really good match. I would say best match on the show. Picked up a lot towards the end. Utami and Jamie had a lot of good moves in here and was mostly motivated by Utami, firmly believing that Jamie kind of brainwashed B into joining Oedo Tai. Because if you guys remember, last year, it was B who turned on Momo. I believe it was after B versus Arisa? Was it? I don't remember exactly after what match it was. But B turned on Momo because she originally was a part of Queen's Quest. And she joined Oedo Tai. And Utami seemed to be the one to be the most hurt about it. And I still remember promos of Utami saying, oh, I'm going to get her back to Queen's Quest, and she's going down the wrong path, and maybe we can do this and that. Like, basically trying to make amends and trying to see the brighter side and things, and B's just like, no, fuck you. I know, fuck you. I'm part of Oedo Tai now. Bow to the queens, my ass, all that kind of stuff. You know, B's always cursing up a storm. I try not to curse as much now, but I still slip from now and then. So forgive me. B. Priestley did end up winning the match, putting down Momo with a hydrangea pin. Do I say this right? Hydrangea? I know it's a flower, but I don't know if I say it correctly each time. But we're gonna roll with it. After the match, Saya Kamatani comes out, and she basically requests to be Utami's partner next time they have a championship match coming up to take on Jamie and B. And Jamie and B accept. So it looks like we're building up the team of Saya and Utami. Remember, it was Saya Kamatani who was recruited by Utami after their match for the Future Stardom Championship, which Utami won. And Saya was crying afterwards, saying it's been my dream to team up with you and stuff and stuff. So this makes sense. It's a good story we're following here. It makes you want to see Saya and Utami get the win overall. So I get behind this. Then we get to the main. It was a very. Did I miss a match, or was this card just that short? No, I didn't miss a match. That was it. Then we get to the main event. Saki Kishima versus Mayu Watani was not for the World of Stardom Championship, but it was a lumberjack match, which basically is a normal match, because more often than not, in these Stardom matches, you have members of the faction outside of the ring watching on. So I don't know why this was called lumberjack match, because it was only the faction members allowed ringside. So I thought that was just a stupid name to call it. It was just a normal match. But story here being Saki Kishima really wanted to face Mayu Watani after a championship match against Takumi, and Mayu basically said, no, you're not on my level, walk away. And Saki's like, I'm gonna beat you one day, Mayu. And that led up to this match here. And she wasn't worthy of a championship match, so that's why she got this match. I thought it was a good match as well. The highlight really being when Saki took Mayu up in the bleachers. No people in the crowd whatsoever. And basically pushed her down, and Mayu fell down, comically, fell down all the stairs on the way down and bumped her head on the chair on the last step, which looked like it hurt a lot. Oh, wait, I got to, excuse me, I had a sneeze coming up there. But the last few minutes were probably the best parts, as you would guess, in a lot of these Japanese matches. They're exchanging some blows. Mayu just straight up started kicking the shit out of Saki at one point. And it looked stiff and hard as hell the way she was kicking her. And Saki was sounding like she was dying or whatnot. And Mayu ends up hitting her elevated dragon suplex on Saki in the end for the victory. Mayu Watani winning this match. So not only does Saki get this non-title match to make an impression, but she still lost. So yeah, mid-card for life, I guess. I thought overall the show was okay. I would give it a 6 out of 10, honestly. Wouldn't say it's anything you need to drop and watch. Or I wouldn't even say you could just skip the show, honestly. I'm very disappointed in Stardom, though, for not even reporting that Arisa was going to be wrestling tonight. If you guys don't know, Arisa is my favorite wrestler in Stardom, period, end of story. I was most hyped out of all matches on the show for her match with Natsuko Tora, because I just wanted to see Arisa wrestle. Arisa gives off the most energy to me. I love her moveset. Her kicks are stiff. Everything about her is just awesome. She's what's really driving me to watch Stardom each and every time. And I could understand if Arisa can't wrestle tonight. I'm not going to be disappointed she can't. Just announce that Arisa's injured and she can't wrestle. But to not say anything and just have your viewers waiting for the match and then it just never happens, it's like, what the fuck? I'm not pissed at them. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, what? Why didn't you say anything? You know what I mean? I wish the best for my baby Arisa, but still, very disappointed Stardom. Do better. Anyway, hopefully they do more shows like this in the future. Maybe some better shows. Like, put it this way: if I'm a first-time viewer, would I watch this show and be like, "Damn, I need to watch some more Stardom"? I don't think so. I mean, I don't think this was a show. I mean, that opening match was goofy, honestly. It was a goofy open. And I know Stardom does their fair share of comedy and whatnot, but if you open your match with that and you're an American viewer, I don't know if the casual fan would watch the opening match and really want to watch the rest of the show. And then you get on to the rest of the matches, and the first 2 tag matches were good. I'll give them that. Then they got into the main event, and it was like, yeah, it was good, but yeah, it's seek no motivation out of me to watch anything else. Like, I'm a Stardom fan, and I'm telling you that this is not a show I would recommend to anybody. Like, it's not a bad show, but it's not a show I would say, oh, go out of your way to watch it. You know what I mean? So, if they do more shows like this, no people, live stream on YouTube, go for it. Just announce when your wrestler's not going to be there, and give us a promising card, and I'll tune in each and every time. Let's hop into WWE. Elimination Chamber was this Sunday. I was in attendance. This was the first pay-per-view. The first WWE pay-per-view I attended since 2017. The last pay-per-view I attended was SummerSlam 2017. That was my first time going to a WWE pay-per-view, and I have not been back to one since. Now, I was at NXT TakeOver Philadelphia, NXT TakeOver Brooklyn in 2017, and then I was at NXT TakeOver Phoenix in January of last year. So I've been to a TakeOver every year for the last 3 years, but as far as pay-per-view goes, I haven't been to one in a very long time. And it's mainly because my interest in WWE has dwindled every single year since then, so I've had no motivation to. This year, I was not motivated at all to go. But my little sister really, really, really badly wanted to go. So I'm like, all right, fine. Then my cousin wanted to go. I'm like, all right, fine. So we get there. Mind you, I didn't buy tickets ahead of time. I had in my head. I had set in my head. These tickets are not going to sell out. There's no reason to go online and search and pay like $185 or $200, $300. Like, I'm just going to go there and we're going to pick up tickets. So I get there like 6 o'clock, maybe like 5:45, something like that. We get to the box office and they say, hey, we have some seats at the top for $47 a piece. We have some seats at the bottom for $180 a piece. And I said, I'm not paying $180 for the show, so we'll do $40 at the top. I pay about $180, $160 for these tickets. We go inside, and we are all the way at the top. I mean, like the very, very tippy top. Like the last row of the bleacher seats. Not the bleacher seats, what the hell? Of the nosebleed section. So we could see everything. But it was it was not my best experience being in the arena. Nonetheless, I guess I'll get my opinions on the show afterwards. But let me get into a slight review of Elimination Chamber 2020. First match we had on the pre-show was the Viking Raiders versus Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. I mean, it was fine. It's part of the reason why I feel like I can't get into a lot of this WWE shows is that the matches feel very the same-ish to me. AEW, I feel like there's a different style to AEW. WWE feels so slow and TV-like. Just the WWE style I'm just not used to watching anymore. Especially watching live. Oh yeah, I'm definitely not used to this. Considering that the last time I saw the Viking Raiders live was at NXT TakeOver Phoenix, and they had this dope, kick-ass match against the Undisputed Era. Or was it? Yeah, against the Undisputed Era. And then to come all the way here, and now they're Eric and Ivar. I remember them as Hanson and Rowe. And they face Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. And mind you, I don't want to knock Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. I grew up on the guys, but they're not like, you know, the greatest wrestlers in the world. And this was far from the greatest match I've ever seen. I mean, it wasn't bad. It's just, I don't remember anything happening except for the Viking Raiders winning. So that's about it. Then we get to the main show. Daniel Bryan versus Drew Gulak. I thought it was really funny because Daniel Bryan came out, got a really nice pop from the crowd. Everyone's doing the yes chants. I did the yes chants. Drew Gulak comes out, and some of the crowd's cheering for him at first. I'm cheering for him because I know he's from Philadelphia, and I like Drew Gulak. Some people cheer for him like, yeah. Then Greg Hamilton says, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and everyone's like, yeah! I'm like, y'all so fake. Y'all are so fake. As soon as he said, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the crowd just went, I mean, it wasn't like a huge pop. But people started cheering for him because they're like, wait, Philly represent, woo woo. I'm like, yeah, you guys suck. But anyway, I thought this was a really, really nice catch, strong hitting match. If you're into the whole strong style, this is what I would like to call a Brit West match. Did I say that right? Brit West? A British indie wrestling match is what this felt like. Not so much with the spots, but just how stiff it was, all the catch transitions. This is everything you want if you're smart, but if you are a casual WWE fan, then you probably just sat here like, what? Why are they locking up so damn much? I felt like for me watching this match, a lot of people in the crowd were just like, yeah. Like I looked over my sister a few times, she's on her phone, she's doing this, she's doing that. I mean, the part that woke everybody up, because some people were just not paying attention at all, was when Daniel Bryan got German suplex by Drew Gulak and lands right on the top of his head and neck, and it scared the hell out of everybody. Because you guys all know, Daniel Bryan, yes, he's been back for the last 2 years. He's been healthy. He hasn't really gotten injured as far as I remember. But It took this man 3 years to come back to the ring because WWE would not clear this man. They would not clear him to wrestle because of past issues with concussions. And they've said if he gets concussed again, it's likely over for him. So when he's taking these dangerous bumps, I get worried because I'm like, I don't want Daniel Bryan to get sidelined again. Because if he gets sidelined again, I don't think he's coming back. Because he already signed a deal for like what, 3-5 years? If he gets hurt again and they don't want to put him back in the ring, he's done. He's done. So that worried me, but he was still going after it. Then he was selling it like he really got hurt, which worried me even more. But the match kept going. Daniel Bryan ended up counting one of Drew Gulak's submissions into a yes lock. Is he calling it a yes lock now, or is it still the LeBell lock? I think it's the yes lock now. Transitioned it into a yes lock and got the submission victory with Drew Gulak. So Daniel Bryan winning this match. I thought it was a fine match. You know what? I'll say it was a really good match. Then we get into the match after this. Andrade versus Humberto Carrillo for the United States Championship. I'm probably big for Andrade. Last time I saw this man live, it was at NXT TakeOver Philadelphia when he main evented against Johnny Gargano. And one of my favorite matches of all time. Andrade versus Johnny Gargano for the NXT Championship at NXT TakeOver Philadelphia. That is one of my favorite matches of all time. Maybe not top 5, but definitely top 10. And definitely one of the best matches I've ever witnessed live. But going into this, I was cheering hard for Andrade. I was probably his biggest fan that night, honestly. Humberto Carrillo come out. I realized he had a bumping theme song, man. I was really vibing that like not trap, but like kind of hip hop-ish vibe he had going on to it. This was for the United States Championship. I thought it was a fine match. These guys had like 7 different matches before in the past. So mind you, I don't really think anybody in the crowd really cared all that much because it was probably the 10th time they seen this match happen. For me, it was the first time because I don't watch Raw. But everyone else has kind of seemed disinterested. I think they did a spot on the outside where Andrade went for his DDT, but Humberto countered. He landed on the mat. Then he got into the ring, and Andrade ended up hitting him with his DDT and got the pin. So he retained the championship. And I'm just sitting there like, well, damn. Didn't Andrade beat this man like 5 different times already? Like, I feel like from what I heard, they're building up to Andrade versus Humberto versus Angel Garza versus Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania, which sounds like a dope-ass match. But if Humberto's going to be in this mix, you can't have this man losing all the damn time. He's got to win at some point. So this made him look like a loser. I'm a little bit dumb with Humberto. I'm still very big on my boy Angel Garza, who I heard wrestle Rey Mysterio last night. Didn't watch it, but I heard it was good. Then we get into the next match. It was the Elimination Chamber SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. John Morrison and The Miz walked into this match with their SmackDown Tag Team Championships. I was the biggest John Morrison fan in the crowd. A little disappointed that nobody else really popped for him like I did. I was singing his theme song and everything. I was up. I was up for this. They went up against the New Day, the Usos, Heavy Machinery, Otis and Tucker. Otis being the most over guy really of the entire night, not named The Undertaker. Lucha House Party, Grand Metalik, and Lince Dorado, and Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. And this match went a while. So much so that I got up at one point and I got some food and I was walking around because I'll be honest, guys, I don't care. I didn't care about WWE. I don't care about WWE main roster WWE. I don't care about it anymore. I really, truly just don't care about any of this. So this is my first time attending an Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, and this is my first time seeing an Elimination Chamber match live. So you would think, oh, this is your first time seeing it, you're excited. I just did not care. I got up and I started walking around. I'm like, And I come back, and New Day got eliminated. Otis I don't know what he did, but this dude ran forward towards a pod and just completely exploded into the pod and fell outwards. It was a dumb finish. It was a dumb way to get eliminated, by the way. The finals came down to the Usos, Miz and Morrison. They had a really good, nice ending sequence. Came down to John Morrison getting the pin over Jey Uso with his Starship Pain. I believe that's how the finish happened. I don't remember. And that was the match. They retained the titles. I don't know what the plan is for them at WrestleMania, but, you know, good for them. Then we had Aleister Black versus AJ Styles. This match bored basically everybody. This match bored the hell out of people. And it sucks because Aleister Black is awesome. AJ Styles is awesome. But whatever the hell they had gone, and I know it's WWE main roster formula. Slow down the match, build up to stuff. It was boring, bro. It was boring. My sister was bored. The crowd was bored. They started chanting CM Punk. They started chanting boring. They had a table set up at one point, and then the table just didn't get used at all. I was just like, bro, why am I here? Why am I here? Aleister Black and AJ Styles, they're going at it. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson come into the ring. They start beating down Aleister Black. The air is now running on. Hold on 1 second. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm not doing any takes. We're doing this all in one take. That's all we're doing today. So, Aleister Black is getting beat down by AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson. And down the lights go out. Gong. Gong. And it's The Undertaker. And mind you, I popped huge. Everybody in the crowd popped huge for this. And I don't know what that says about... I know what this says about WWE. You don't have any stars if the biggest person that got the loudest pop was The Undertaker, who's been wrestling for 30 years. He's like 54, 55 years old. And my sister went insane. My 16-year-old sister, who only started watching Undertaker like after WrestleMania 29. Like, she barely got to see him full time, if at all. See him wrestle full time. So she only knows him for wrestling at WrestleMania and all that kind of stuff. And she went wild for The Undertaker. And he came out, he did a choke slam to AJ Styles. And that led to Aleister Black hitting him with the Black Mask in the pin. So Aleister Black won this match. AJ Styles, I heard, challenged The Undertaker one-on-one at WrestleMania last night on Raw, which just like, damn, I guess fuck Aleister Black. Like, I thought at this point they're leading up to a 2-on-3 match, but he challenged Undertaker one-on-one, so what's Aleister Black doing then? What is Aleister Black going to do if it's just AJ Styles and The Undertaker one-on-one? I don't know. Then we get to the next match, the Street Profits versus the Monday Night Messiah and Murphy. This should have been good. I just didn't care. I got up. I started walking around. I don't remember anything happening in this match. Then we get into the next match. Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Cesaro versus Braun Strowman for the Intercontinental Championship. Yes, you heard that right. The Intercontinental Championship was defended in a 3-on-1 match. I don't know how. I don't know why. But this is the state of the Intercontinental Championship right now. Sami Zayn kind of promo talking about, oh, it's going to be just me and Braun. Let me do this. Then he comes out and it changes his mind. It's a 3-on-1 scenario. And they're going at Braun Strowman. They're doing their moves and whatnot. Braun Strowman's dominating at first. Then, I forgot what happened. But Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro lift him up for a suplex. Sami Zayn hits his haluba kick during the suplex, which I thought was a really cool sequence. And he pins Braun Strowman to win the Intercontinental Championship. Good on Sami Zayn. But this is like 5 years too late. This man has been in WWE since 2014 and been on the main roster since 2016. And he is just now winning the Intercontinental Championship. That is crazy. And not crazy in a good way. Like, the fact that it took Sami Zayn 4 years to win it, like, this is too little too late to me at this point. Like how could y'all care about him winning the title? Like, the boy was a loser. And it's not all his fault because he was injured for part of it. But the boy is a loser for the most part. He loses, like, a lot from what I see and what I hear. So when he won the championship from Braun Strowman in a 3-on-1 scenario, he didn't do it by himself. It's like, how do y'all care about it? I don't know. Then we get into the main event. We had Sarah Logan, who came out to literally no reaction whatsoever. Nobody cared. Like, literally, nobody in the crowd cared until Sarah Logan came out. It showed you why she was in this match. Not to take the fall, and people knew that. No one in their right mind thought Sarah Logan was winning this match. Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Natalya, and Asuka, and Shayna Baszler. All in one match. Starts out with Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan. And I'm just like, who the fuck could care about this scenario whatsoever? Nobody cared, by the way. They all chatted boring, and CM Punk during this as well. Natalya comes out, and I still like, okay, I'm waiting for Shayna to come in here and start wrecking people because I'm ready to go, man. Like, I'm ready to go. Why am I here? And then Shayna comes out, immediately goes to everybody. She puts down Sarah Logan with the Karafuda. Then she puts down Natalya with the Karafuda. Then we get and I shit you not, we get 2.5 minutes of Shayna Baszler just walking around and taunting. Asuka's doing her thing in a pod. Liv Morgan's looking all worried, and she's just walking and putting her hands out and taunting, and that this went on forever. She was just walking around doing nothing, and the crowd's like, what? Start the timer. What's going on? Then we have Liv Morgan comes out. She gets a little bit of offense. Then Shayna Baszler gets her up for a powerbomb. Throws her into the cage. Then throws her into the pod. Karafuda's her ass. She's out. Now we have to wait 2.5 more minutes for Asuka. At this point, the crowd just starts booing. Because it's like, why the fuck are we waiting so damn long? For the next... I get what they were doing. But the execution... For me in the arena, I was getting mad. Because I'm like, why are we waiting for the next entry when there's literally everybody's gone and there's just one person? Just open the damn pod. So 2.5 minutes go by, Asuka comes out. They go at it for like what? Maybe 2-3 minutes at the most. Shayna Baszler gets some offense in on Asuka. She hits her, and Shayna and what made it worse that Shayna had the same formula for every elimination. Yakuza cutter, I think it's Yakuza cutter. Yakuza cutter, needed a face, Karafuda clutch. She did this on literally every single woman and won the match. And Shayna Baszler is the winner of this match and is facing Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. And I remember, as soon as she put the Karafuda on, I got up and I got my jacket and I said, let's go. Well, it's just like, no, I still want to see it. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like, I paid money. We might as well see what happens. Now, mind you, during the match, Becky Lynch was shown on the Titantron watching this match. So everyone's thinking Becky's going to come out and face down with Shayna Baszler, whatnot. This never happened. Becky Lynch never came out. That was the end of the show. Shayna won, and that was it. House lights came. Everyone's just like, what? That happened? That's how we end the show? All right. I was just sitting here like, bro, this sucked. This sucked ass. Why was I here? Like, I'm just, man, listen. No one in their right mind ever thought that Asuka or Natalya was gonna, like, Asuka was the second logical choice to go with, but she lost already to Becky Lynch, so why would she face Becky Lynch at WrestleMania? So the only choice was Shayna Baszler. And then for Shayna Baszler to just win using the same formula for each person, and then nothing happened to her in the end, it was just like, bro, this is boring. So overall, I give this show a 3 out of 10. I wasted my money, man. I did it because I love my sister. My sister said, oh, I had a good time, but you could tell when someone's lying to you. My sister did not. I could tell. She did not enjoy this as much as she was leading on to be. This show sucked, man. I regret going to this show. I'm never paying for another WWE show again unless it's WrestleMania this year. And that's even if I'm up to go to WrestleMania and possibly get the coronavirus from like 40,000 fucking people in the arena. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. But that was Elimination Chamber. Sorry if the review was very not very energetic, but I have no energy for this shit anymore, man. I literally just don't care about anything that's do Raw or SmackDown. And I love Asuka to death, man. Asuka is like my top 5 like favorite woman of all time. I popped cues when she came out, but as soon as she got that feudal locked in, I'm like, we might as well just go. It's over. I don't know what the purpose of this was. What was the purpose of the chamber match? We all knew Shayna was winning it. The whole build-up has been between Shayna and Becky for the last few months. No one thought Shayna was not going to win. I mean, Roman Reigns just declared he's going to face Goldberg at WrestleMania. The Fiend declared he's going to face John Cena at WrestleMania. AJ Styles declared he's going to face Undertaker at WrestleMania. So why didn't Shayna just come out and declare she's going to face Becky at WrestleMania? We could have gotten a SmackDown Women's Chamber match for all this. Because who's Bayley facing at WrestleMania? Does anybody know who's Bayley facing? Because I don't know. That would have made more sense. But this is unnecessary. This whole show was unnecessary. And you want to know what really stuck out to me? What stuck out to me more than anything else on this show was that going into this show, I kept on saying to my sister, why do you want to go to the show? She's like, oh, it's a pay-per-view. I've never been to one before. But I was thinking to myself, who is on this show? Who is on this show? And I don't mean that in a literal sense because I know who's on the show. But I mean, there's no main eventers on this show. Think about it. There's no Goldberg, who is the Universal Champion. There's no Brock Lesnar, who's the WWE Champion. There's no Roman Reigns. There's no Bray Wyatt or Fiend. There's no John Cena. There's no Rhea Ripley. There's no Charlotte Flair. There's no Bayley. There's no Becky. There is nobody worth a damn except for Asuka on this show. So I was sitting here like, why do you want to go to this show? There's nobody here. And I said this to her, and she had nothing to say to me. So I just thought I just thought that stuck out the most to me. But I'm done talking about WWE. I'm done talking about them. Let's get into some AEW news before we end it out here. How long have we been going? How long has this been going? 48 minutes. Might be our shortest episode yet. AEW Blood and Guts was announced a few weeks ago during AEW Revolution. It's not a pay-per-view. It's their Dynamite special. They've done one before. Bash at the Beach, remember, was a Dynamite special. And AEW Rock and Rage at Sea was a Dynamite special. So I like this. I like that even though they don't do pay-per-views every month, they do Dynamite specials every once in a while. It gets you really like hyped up for Dynamite because it's something worth watching. And this is going to hold their first Wargames match, or Match Beyond as they're going to call it. They'll be announcing the rules for this match this week on Dynamite. But just a few days ago, we got the announcement of who's going to be at AEW Blood and Guts and who will be competing in this Wargames match. It will be the Elite versus the Inner Circle. On the Elite side, we have the Young Bucks, Nick and Matt Jackson, Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, your AEW Tag Team Champions, and Cody versus the Inner Circles, Pride and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz, Sammy Guevara, Jake Hager, and Chris Jericho. Now, mind you, I'm hyped for the concept of this match, but when you think about who's in this match, does it make sense to you guys for the Elite to face Pride and Powerful and Sammy and Chris Jericho? Like, does it make any sense for them to face the Inner Circle? Like, like the Inner Circle has been feuding with Jon Moxley for the last, 2 months now. So it makes sense for them to face Jon Moxley and some other people. But the Elites, we're done and over with this Chris Jericho and Cody feud. That's done. That's over with. Jake Hager isn't feuding with any member of the Elite. Sammy Guevara isn't feuding with any member of the Elite. Pride and Powerful feuded with the Young Bucks months ago. Pride and Powerful has had a tag team match with Kenny Omega, Heyman Page weeks ago. That's done. So mind you, I love the Elite. I love the Inner Circle. But this match doesn't make any sense. There's no reason to have this match. I'm not saying I'm not looking forward to it, because I am. I know it's going to be bloody. It's going to have a lot of cool spots in here. But it does not really... It doesn't seem like this is properly set up at all. Kenny Omega and Heyman Page, they're having dissension. And they're trying to team up. Heyman Page he's having his little feud with the Young Bucks still. Cody is having his own thing with not Lance Archer yet, but Jake the Snake Roberts. Like, why is this match put together? I did my prediction for what the match should be last week, and this is far from what I expected. Far from what I expected. But I guess they wanted to do their top two factions go up against each other, so that works out, I guess. I'm excited for the match itself. Who do I think wins this match? I guess the Inner Circle. If they want to continue to feud with Chris Jericho and Jon Moxley, or even Sammy and Darby and whatnot, then it makes sense for the Inner Circle to win. Kenny Omega and Hangman Page are still not on the same page. Neither are the Young Bucks and Hangman Page. And the question is, do they do the turn in this match? I hope they do not do the turn in this match, because we all been talking about it. Hangman Page still doesn't like the Young Bucks and still on the same page with Kenny Omega, so he might be turning soon. He's still like one of the hottest baby faces they have. Why would they turn him? It makes no sense to turn him in Page right now. So no, I don't think they should do the turn here. I don't think they should do the turn for a long time, honestly. Ride the wave, man. Ride the wave. Go with the motion of the ocean. And the ocean is going in the direction of Hangman Page possibly being a top guy in AEW. And he can't be a top guy as a heel, because the crowd's going to cheer him as a heel. So I think Inner Circle wins this match. Then we get to our last discussion here. AEW possibly running a G1 Climax like tournament? Possibly. Kenny Omega in a recent interview, I don't remember who the interview was with, but he talked about the possibility of running a round robin tournament. And he says, and I quote, "Whether it be a round robin tournament, a league style, or one night where we are just definitely looking into a tournament format, because people, as a fan myself I love tournaments. As a performer, they're tough to do, but I think it really tests the athlete's mettle and it really separates the men from the boys. Yeah, I love to do a tournament. I don't know what we call it. I don't have any ideas for a name, but all of us have been brought together on board with the tournament, and it's just a matter of figuring out how." So, G1 Climax is a New Japan thing. That's what they're well known for, at least. The other companies have done round robin tournaments. I'm not saying New Japan invented the round robin tournament, because they didn't. But New Japan Pro Wrestling is most well known for the G1 Climax tournament. A 20-man round robin tournament that takes place within the months of July and August. And it's a 20-man tournament broken up into 2 blocks, 10 men on each block. Each block has a 9-day piece where they get 5 matches each day. The wrestlers in each block face off against each other. 2 points for a win, 1 point for a time limit draw, and 0 for a loss. The wrestler with the most points at the end of the block for days 17 and 18 will meet in the finals of the 19th day, where the winner faces the IWGP Heavyweight Champion at Wrestle Kingdom. As awesome as it would sound for AEW to do a tournament like this, logistically, it just does not sound possible to me. This will take a long time to execute. You guys remember one thing about New Japan. New Japan has run a weekly TV show. New Japan tours and they televise it. New Japan isn't running every Wednesday, every Monday, every Tuesday, every Thursday. No. New Japan does a show, this week. Like 5 days this week, then 3 days next week, then 2 days next week, then 4 days next week. That's how it usually works. They don't have a set schedule every single week. So when New Japan does the G1, they can space it out over the course of a month and make it work. With AEW, they can't do a 20-man tournament unless they want the tournament to go on for 4.5 months. Because you gotta remember, a 20-man tournament with 2 blocks requires 5 matches each and every single week. 5 matches over the course of 19 days on a weekly television show. That's 19 weeks of television you have to fill up. That is a ridiculous amount of time to do a whole tournament. That's way too long. That is way too long to carry a tournament. And I know you're saying, oh, it's pop, but no, it's not. Because you have TV to cover. You have to do storylines. People want to see stories being told. You can't do that if your whole show is covered up by a tournament for 4 months. What are you building up to for 4 months? The finals of your tournament, yes, but you have pay-per-views to build up to. Your pay-per-view isn't going to be the finals of the tournament. How else are you going to do these shows? You're just going to have these matches on Dark building up? Like, that's not going to work. Logistically, it won't work. So here's how I think they could do it. I suppose subsidizing the entire tournament from 20 men to 12. Now this means you have to do 6 men to a block. Same as the G1 Climax, 2 points gets you, a win gets you 2 points, 1 for time withdrawal and 0 for a law. They can still do the same as the G1 Climax, but it's more or less going to work like this. You get 12 men in the tournament, 6 men to each block, and you do 3 matches for A block on 1 week and 3 matches for B block on the next week. And basically, that would give you 5 weeks for 3 matches on each block, which would equate to 10 matches in total for the tournament. Now, I think they could do a 2.5 month long tournament. That's possible to do. If they want to even speed things up even more and not do the whole thing within 2.5 months, they could even do 3 matches on Dark and have Dark for like basically an entire month and a half just be tournament matches. You could have A block 1 week on Dynamite, then B block the other week on Dark, then A block the other week on Dark, then B block the other week on Dynamite. Like, they could alternate so that way A block and B block are both getting, because I don't want to see A block on TV and then you gotta watch B block for Dark. Like, just do A block 1 week, B block 1 week, then every other week they wrestle on Dark. That's how I would do it. And that's how you could fill up a tournament in a month and a half. And if not, go with my other idea of doing 1 week A block, 1 week B block, and doing 2.5 months. But they can't do a 4.5 month long tournament. It's not going to work. That was your Chill Pill Podcast episode 10. Sorry it's short, but there wasn't too much to talk about this week. Remember, if you have questions you want me to answer, comment them down below. And go to the community page and say, hey, talk about this on CPP next week. CPP. I'm a child. Anyway, that was Chill Pill Podcast episode 10. Leave a like on this video. Share this with all your friends. All that good stuff. I love you guys always, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace out, guys.